Hi, everyone. I wanted to just drop in and give you some brand tips for today. I just came from doing a workshop for the city of Chicago called Clarifying Your Brand Identity. And there were a couple of really good tips. So I wanted to share them with you here on social media just to give you some little nuggets of information that might just help you with your branding and sort of questions you might have with your small business. So let's get started. What exactly is brand identity, right? Some of you know this already, but a lot of you don't. And so brand identity is the collection of elements that a business, a company creates to portray the right brand image to their consumer. And so while brand image and branding is something different from the identity, certainly they are, those terms have been used interchangeably. So think of it this way: it's everything that you create visually to support and communicate your brand. And so when we talk about branding, that really refers to, the activity, the marketing activity, and the practice of actively trying to shape your brand. So that is really the difference. And obviously, your brand is the perception of the business in the eyes of your consumer and the world. So that's brand identity. And then I gave 4 tips on the benefits of having a strong brand. So I printed them out. So I'm going to just read them to you because I think these are really important when we think about how can we define our brand and make sure that it's really strong. Okay. So the first one is strong branding makes you memorable. So, as a small business owner, being memorable is the key. The big boys, the McDonald's and Targets of the world do this brilliantly. But I think for smaller businesses and micro businesses, it's a little bit more of a contextual thing where you can understand certain things that you can do to make sure you're memorable, engaging with your customers in the right way. So while many consumers take the time to research and compare options and choose, others choose whether they happen to recognize your brand or not, it's that reason specifically that established companies like a Coca-Cola, Starbucks, KFC, McDonald's spend billions of dollars on advertising. So they're capitalizing on what we call the brand recognition. And so small businesses can do something similar. While we obviously don't have the budget of those companies, of any Fortune 500 company, you can still employ those tactics by, really using common sense on how you can become memorable and engage with your client base. So think about it this way: making yourself recognizable to customers is common sense, is good common sense. A solid brand identity consists of standardized font, color, and logo choices that are used to represent the business in all marketing materials consistently. Second tip: brand recognition builds trust. So, another less obvious benefit of perfecting brand identity: a smartly designed website that can make your company appear stronger, bigger than your competitors. And frankly, when people go to your website after they've had a trigger or a call to action and it's a little janky, that doesn't sit well with that potential customer. They kind of feel like they're being duped, if that makes sense. So really what we say is a strong brand identity says, we're not just trying to take your money and never, communicate with you again. We want you to engage with us long term. It's about creating long-term customers and long-term clients. So that's really important. The third tip: strong branding filters out bad leads. This is a good one because there's always a bad customer. All customers are not good customers for your business. And so when you have a strong brand, you curate a strong brand identity, it filters leads on your behalf. The reality is you don't want to do business with everyone. You only want to do the business with people, or customers, I should say, um, who are most aligned with your brand and your core values. And so those individuals down the line are going to be your best customers. Here's an example that I really like that we touched on. So say you sell a premium coffee subscription service. Your ideal customer isn't Mike, we'll just say Mike, who gladly pays 79 cents a cup at 7-Eleven every morning. Your ideal customer is Susan, who considers coffee an affordable luxury and has been eyeing slow drips on Amazon since last Monday. A thoughtfully curated brand identity will simultaneously attract Susan and detract from Mike, thus making it easier for you to close sales and develop long-term relationships. So the key there is let your website filter out the customers that you don't need, that you is not valuable to your company. The last tip, the fourth tip, brand identity supports product launches and services and service trials or betas or things like that as well. I'll add services in there. So no matter what your vertical is, no matter what opportunities exist, when you have a strong customer base, you can beta test that with them. You can do customer focus groups. You can do, little feedback sessions. You can sort of communicate with them that you're trying a new service and you'd love for them to be the benefactor of that service. So it's a really great way to support anything that you're trying out without it being sort of, with a customer or a potential customer that you don't have a relationship with, that your brand is, not known to, because then you run the risk of having that person never want to click or, go to your website again if it's a fail. So that's a really good way to think about it. So those are 4 benefits of a strong brand identity. And then finally, I'll leave you guys with some tips. So there are several things you can do to support a cohesive brand. And so if you're unsure to where to begin, here's a couple of tips. I've got 4 of them for you. No, 4 is a good number, I guess. So first, take a visual inventory. Are you using the same logo across all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever else? And what about your fonts, color schemes, photography, other design elements? Are they consistent? So take a visual inventory. That is the first tip. That means if you are using one version of your logo on Instagram and a different version of your logo on Facebook, no good. Make sure it's consistent and sort of take inventory so that you have the right files in place that you need to do that. Second tip, analyze your messaging. So, is your website's content an accurate representation of who you are as a company? Does your messaging have a clear point of view? Is it consistent? Here's the word consistent again, across all the platforms. And are you providing material for each stage of your customer's buying journey? That's important. Third tip, create a game plan. So, are there things that you can do right now to update your brand to make it more cohesive? So if bigger changes are needed, like you need a new logo or you need some more graphics to share, more content, plan that out, make a budget. But there's little things that you could do right now, like switch out the right size logo on your Facebook page, the same one that's on your LinkedIn page, things like that you could do right away and make it more cohesive. Your brand has to be cohesive. Brand identity is about being one brand consistently, creating your key messages and all those things. But, these are a few tips. And the last tip, the fourth tip, which is the last one for today, is get your staff on board. Staff, interns, volunteers, whoever is representing your brand, make sure that the brand is cohesive across all of them. They understand it. They know what they're talking about, because your brand is more than just your appearance. It's the experience customers have when they're interacting with any facet of your company, from answering the phones to how you show up on, your voice on social media, to the interactions at an event that you might give, things of that nature. So embody your brand values as a team. And again, for small businesses who may not have a big staff, this extends out to your interns, your volunteers, and anyone who is helping you represent your brand. So those are my tips. This is my brand identity tips for you, and hopefully they are helpful. I will find some more and come back at you with another quick video. Thanks for watching. Bye.